It's long. But yeah, welcome to Grown Arse Men, guys. We're doing a little something different today. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce myself. My name is Craig, one of the hosts of the show. To my left.
My name is Dwayne.
And to my right.
Yes, what's going on, people? Rakes in the building. What's going on?
Guys, wait, hold up.
My name is Dwayne.
Sounds like you've been bullied before, innit? But listen, before we go on, let's address something.
As you can see, Darren is not with us at this time. Circumstances means he can't be with us at this time. Doesn't mean in the future he won't be with us. But at this moment in time, there is no Darren. But we intend to carry on Grown Arse Men.
As a collective of three, is what he's trying to say. Jeez, you know what? It's late, yeah.
Bruh.
I appreciate this, and I got my little coffee here. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're just gonna kind of have a discussion. We wanted to make sure that we got some content to put out to you guys before we start going back live, where you know it all goes down. So let's delve into it. First and foremost, R.I.P. DMX. The time of recording this show is happened today, and like I said, we was just having a quick discussion before, and I was kind of heartbroken by it, man. DMX, one of my top 5 rappers. Music has helped me get through a lot of stuff. He is an absolute legend in the game. A legendary artist, period. I don't want to just say hip-hop artist. No. He's a legendary artist, period.
In music.
Yeah. I think he will be spoken about on the same lines as the Biggies, Tupacs. You've got Nipsey Hussle. Well, I think he'd be spoken about maybe more than Nipsey Hussle. I don't want to kind of go into that debate, but he's a legend in the game, man. And it's sad that that's happened. There's conflicting reports about whether it was a drugs overdose or whether he took a COVID vaccination and then suffered a heart attack on the back of it.
That COVID thing is something I've only just heard, and that's
if I'm going to be honest, that's what is apparently it's been reported that his sister said. Knowing DMX's history, it's hard to think that it's only down to that, and I don't want to be totally skeptical, but an addict is an addict, isn't it?
Yeah. It's understandable that, you know, drugs were going to have an impact at some point.
But it's tough, man, because to me, I followed DMX when he put out, there was one dodgy album that he put out, man, and you know, like, you try to listen to it because you still want it to be good, because I thought after Great Depression and Grand Champ, I thought going off a little bit.
A couple albums ago, I'm banging that album.
Yes.
You know, I'm a DMX fan, and when I went to New York to go and see them at was it Rolling Loud? Yeah. Is it Rolling Loud? Rolling whatever it is, and it was Wu-Tang and DMX were the main people I was going to see, and when they said he weren't turning up, I was devastated. I was happy to finally see DMX. Yeah. So when I heard that today, that rocked me, man. Like,
I remember I've seen DMX live once, and it was at Club UN in Tottenham, donkeys years ago. It's like do you remember the days? Yeah, Club UN.
It was said it like it was Capital or something.
Oh, so you know what? I used to go.
You saying Capital is dope?
I'm saying being a club you're in.
Capital was a reject club.
Shout out to all my North London peoples, yeah. You don't know Club UN. It's on the top of the high street, and it was like an appearance. I remember going like see when I went Ministry and 50 Cent was there. Like that's how it kind of used to be. Like artists of that magnitude and level couldn't just roll through like that now.
Destiny's Child.
You know what I'm saying? When we see Destiny's Child,
Camden.
See, that's what I'm saying. This
when Kelly sang to me. No, it's Beyonce. That's a story for another day.
Yeah, we'll tell you about the time that you put Kelly Rowland in a frame and put it up in his house. He asked for that. He definitely asked for that.
What a loser!
That's the most reckless thing ever. But you know what? Listen, jokes aside, that obviously DMX's passing, it kind of relates into what we wanted to delve into today, because obviously you know that it's quite clear to me that he was someone who was dealing with mental demons, and I don't want to kind of go into what do you mean by mental demons, but you know, by mental issues. He had such a close relationship to God. I think at one point he was looking to become a pastor. or a preacher. He's one of the few people that showed Mace a lot of support when he left the game, kind of went that route. But it's been tough. And listen, we're talking about the whole pandemic, the state of mental health, and one of the topics that we're going to speak on today is my own personal mental health. For anyone who's not close to me, I will let you know that I've been going through some mental issues throughout the pandemic. I've struggled a lot mentally. I'm now getting to a place, and this is probably part of, I don't want to say my healing as such, but this is part of, I guess, dealing with those things is being open and being honest, kind of just putting it out there, because sometimes I get a better understanding about what I'm going through when I talk to other people, because you guys might ask me a question that's like, right, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And even Jeffrey, who obviously G, everyone who knows, like G used to be part of Grown Arse Men. I was with him today, and we was just talking about it. He didn't know that I was kind of going through things, and you know what it is what he kind of showed me is that perspective is reality. You understand what I mean? So it's like you got something, and how it is. If this is to me a great cup of coffee, but to you it's a shit cup of coffee, then it's shit to you, but it's great to me. But you know what I'm saying? What it actually is actually irrelevant. Yeah. It's actually irrelevant. It's what I believe, and it's, you know what I'm saying, what's personal to you. And you know, when he was asking me certain questions, it kind of made me go back and think about how I was feeling at the time. It's like, you know, like when it's like, I've only got £2,000 in my account. Damn! That's a first world problem, isn't it? That's not really a big problem. So when I was going through certain things, I used to kind of look at everything and think, well, I've got a wife, I've got children, I drive a nice car, I live in a decent home. Yeah, what have I actually got to complain about or moan about?
Yeah, but those are just material things and things that are just there. When it comes to mental health, it's internal. Yeah. It's a struggle that you're dealing with inside. So whilst those things are important to people, your mind will tell you that that's not relevant at what you're going through. But when did you know that there was an issue, there was a problem?
I think it was one day that I woke up. I think during the initial lockdown for me was like a trigger to what was already kind of going on in my mind.
So you already felt like you had things on your mind.
Yeah, I've spoken to Dwayne in sections, but I've dealt with a lot of frustration. It's like, I think to myself, well, I should be doing more for my children. I should be providing more. If I drop off this earth, what have these kids got? I have a good job, yet I don't feel like I have enough to show for it. Again, you might sound materialistic, but it's that frustration that builds up. I feel that I should be further along in terms of my ambition to where I am, and those sort of things were kind of getting to me prior to lockdown. When lockdown kind of happened now, it's like, at first, it was almost a bit of fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being funny. Like, everyone was off. Everyone was off from work, and
it was kind of relaxed at first.
Exactly. Like, we was jumping on Zooms and doing all of these different things, and then I found myself starting to drink a lot. Yeah,
a lot of people have.
Yeah, like, listen, babe, I'm sorry, but me and Mish was rinsing some drinks. Like,
I remember at the beginning. We was the bottles.
Literally every day was a party. And you know what it was, is that I was realising that, right, you know what, this is kind of like an escapism. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm not in my right mind, I'm not thinking in my right mind, I'm just jolly and then...
You're not having to concentrate on the things that you would normally do.
And then I think what started happening is that I started to gain major weight. Like, just because we was home eating, listen, we're watching things on YouTube, we're making homemade patties, we're doing all sorts. Like, listen, it was going off. It was going off. And you know what it was, is that there were so many good things about it that it was justifying it in my mind, because as a family we was doing so much more together. But then I could feel myself starting to gain weight. I stopped going to the gym, obviously not through choice, but I bought all of this gym stuff at the beginning, like to do workouts from home. And listen, at first it was that, and then the novelty wore off so quick. So quick. And I was just like, nah, I need to be in the gym. That's my headspace, you know what I'm saying? So I was kind of kicked out of a routine. And it just got to a point where I woke up one day to kind of get to the answer of your question. When did I realise? Whilst I was going through that, I kind of realised that this ain't normal. However, I thought I was still fine in my head. But then there was one day where I kind of just woke up, I looked out the window, and I just remember just sitting there thinking, this is so shit. Like, this is so shit. I felt so lazy. I couldn't even bloody get up to go piss. Like, I was holding to my pee. I was just like, nah, this is shit. Honestly, I know it sounds weird.
Motivation.
I just lost motivation for everything. And when my wife would ask me like what was wrong and stuff like that, I would just say, it's just one of them days. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I haven't even tackled what's really wrong. I'm not sure. I just know that I don't.
You know something.
I just know that something ain't right. And then slowly but surely, as days were going by, I felt myself just withdrawing from everybody. I'm not the best at answering my phone anyway. We know. I would avoid. I'm talking work as well. I'm just avoiding calls. I'm avoiding work calls. I'm thinking, well, cool. Listen, if it's that important, they'll send a message. You know what I'm saying? They'll send a message or they'll send an email.
I remember you like avoiding doing work, and you obviously trading. You're saying things like it's getting in your way. Like the job's getting in your way. And it was funny at the time to me because a man was just talking about his job like it was nothing. But I didn't realise what he was actually going through at that point. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I know we had spoken and you had said certain things, but I didn't. It wasn't
that bit didn't register.
Yeah, it didn't register that it was an actual real problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think at that point as well is like, because I was talking about the frustration about where I am. I always looked at the trading that we was doing because we was quite good at it and becoming successful. I was thinking, this is my avenue. This takes care of one of the issues that's given me all of this frustration. So when I used to joke and say things like work was getting in the way, as much as it's funny, I believed it because I was thinking, this is my pathway. I'm about to take off. You know what I'm saying?
Was it just the goals of what you wanted to gain out of trading, or was it also because obviously where you lot are doing it, you're doing it with other people that have been doing it for years and whatever? Was it also a factor of seeing people that have been doing it for years and where they were at and kind of
you want to get there?
Not to be too materialistic, but what they've got.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I wouldn't say like I saw someone who was like envious. I would be motivated by it. You know what I'm saying? So
but then frustrated at the lack of
So subconsciously maybe that frustration is kicking in, but all I see is that there's someone who looks like me. You know what I'm saying? Is from the sort of place that I'm from and has got there. I'm like, I'm going there. You know what I'm saying? And then it would just be tunnel vision on that. And I'm not realizing throughout all of this that my tunnel vision is affecting my mood at home, because if something's not going my way, let's just say in a trade or something like that, I'm reacting differently to the people in my house. So now they're starting to notice it. So I was thinking, all right, if maybe it's that, and it wasn't kind of forced upon me, but I thought, cool, take a step back from trading for a bit, had a bit of a break and whatnot. Some of it was forced upon me, but you know what? Take the break nonetheless. And then it was like, right, now there's a void. Now there's more time to think about everything else. And that's where I was kind of running from. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to think about what's wrong, because if I think about everything that's going on, I actually have to tackle it. You know what I'm saying? And I was running away from that. I wouldn't tell anybody, not even my wife, to the extent of how things were kind of affecting me, because it's like, I know that people want to talk to you and want to help you, but it's almost like I know I just didn't have the answers. So it's like I would avoid the conversation. Oh, what's wrong? I don't know, but it's clear this, and then for the other person, but it's clear there's something wrong. Yeah, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying?
How are you finding a balance in managing it? Because obviously I know, from being trading is very, it can be stressful. So how was you being able to have this problem and still manage? Does I mean that?
It was because I kind of used like trading and other things as, well, if I'm successful in that, I'll feel better. You know what I'm saying? So my focus was, that will make me better, rather than trying to figure out and deal with the things that are going on mentally in my mind. Then there was just one point, it was like, you just start to doubt yourself and just kind of just go into this real dark place that I could not pull myself out of. And I just wanted to hide from everybody. I just wanted to hide from everyone. Like, it put such a massive strain on my marriage because I knew I wasn't acting normal.
So with that, obviously, Misha's asking you questions, you know, how are you doing and whatever, and you're saying, you know, it's just one of those days. Did she start to show her frustration at not getting any kind of answer or information back from you? Because you're obviously, it gets to a point where when you give the same answer so many times, you know you're just being fobbed off.
Yeah.
Surely.
I think from her point it was like, well, let me probe and ask because, you know, I'm interested. I want to know what's kind of going on. But again, when you kind of get the same response, and then I started to get short with it, like, stop asking me what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fine. You know, when someone says, I'm okay. Like, bro. It was kind of, not to even kind of be funny about it, but it was kind of on those things. So I could see that she was like, well, you know what? Let me take, her knowing me, let me just take a step back, leave him be, give him some space, and then we kind of, you know, we'll address it at another time. And then me, in my mind, would then take that, as much as I don't want her to ask, her withdrawing, oh, she don't care, you know what I'm saying? And then you start to manifest, it's the only way I can kind of say it is like, normal standard thoughts start to manifest and come out in a weird way.
I was gonna ask, what does a bad day look like?
I could wake up with a hangover or something like that. I wake up, I might have drank the night before, ate food mad at night time. You know, you get up in the morning, you have a little glimpse of yourself in the mirror, you're like, fuck that, Jesus Christ. Man's bloated, like, you know what I'm saying? You're still carrying all the food from the night before. Because I'm quite relatively disciplined within in my eating and stuff like that, because, you know, I'm a big, I'm a big guy as well. I go to the gym, so I know how my body reacts to certain stuff. And that would be the trigger. It would be like, visually, you're not good enough, then cool. So you move on to the rest of the things. You're visually not good enough. You're not doing enough anyway. Like, you're shit at this. Like, and it was just all these negative thoughts would just, one would pile on top of the other. And then before you know it, it's almost like you're paralyzed just in a bed, just wanting to either sleep it off. And I found that I did a lot of that. I just would go to bed and just try to sleep at random times because I just want to shut off.
I only recently discovered that they link sleep to depression, and I never knew that at all. Well, I was reading maybe a couple months ago that a lot of people, when they are depressed, just sleep, and only when you just said that it's about sleeping and just getting away, I didn't actually think about the link to it. But you are effectively, it's like drinking. You're away from the situation.
So yeah, I could tell that. I was just going down a kind of slippery path, and as it was getting worse. And I kind of realised that I can't actually deal with this, and I know that if I continue, it's going to get to a point where the bounce back's going to have to be a madness because I'm slipping away. Like even the man them group that we've all got, I just went silent for a couple of months.
For someone that's quite loud in it as well.
Yeah, I'm relatively active in the group and stuff like that, and I just thought cool.
So how did you find telling us as the group, bearing in mind that the group is just, it's not serious.
It's banter, yeah. I think, you know what? Telling you guys as well as speaking to my dad, I spoke to, in fact, I think I done one day after the other. It was hard because I've always kind of looked at myself as a leader, someone who's strong, not just physically and in stature, but mentally. I've always thought to myself as strong, and this was to me exposing my weakness, and it was that was tough to deal with because it's almost like, you know, if you think you're the toughest man in the playground or something, and someone boxing in your face, you're like, and you're like, oh, your whole, you know what I'm saying? You're like,
you gotta look at things differently now.
Yeah, you just think, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not that tough. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of one of those moments, and what it was is that I was embarrassed to speak to my dad and to speak to you guys because I was afraid that people would start looking at me differently or treating me differently, and that's the one thing that I did not want, is to kind of be looked at as, oh, he's a bit weird, or oh, you know what, I can't say that to him because he might jump off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? And whilst it weren't that deep, it was to me. That's how it cooked up in my head. I made so much of it in my head that, yeah, it just built up, and then my anxiety just got so high about doing it. I pulled away from doing it for so long.
So
and
you went to have that conversation.
Oh, listen, probably for over a month. I speak to Dwayne a lot because we was obviously doing the trading and whatnot as well, and obviously he's just one of the people in the group that I'm probably closer to. And I've went to say things a few times, or I've hinted towards it, but I've never actually said, you know what, this is what it is. I think I am suffering from some mental issues. Just saying that out loud, like, it was like, raw. Like, your man, like, I just think of straight jackets, white jackets and all, you know what I'm saying? And then, and I just think to myself, I didn't want any association with that. I knew that there was a problem, but I didn't want it to be associated.
I don't think that far. Like, at this age, that anybody would look at it like that. Like, I think we've like,
not to that extent, but I think we have grown up with that kind of mentality, in that when someone says they've got mental problems, you automatically think, you know, straight jacket, you know, Maudsley, and
walking down the street. I think of all of those things that just.
I'm not saying you're going to judge a man that tells you that he's got mental problems or whatever right now, or struggles. You're not going to judge him and say, okay, he's nuts or whatever. But that is the way we were kind of brought up thinking. So it's hard to then come out with something along those lines and think, and not expect that kind of reaction, that kind of thinking towards it.
There is a stigma attached to it, isn't it? Like, we can't hide away from it.
Our next question is, has your mindset changed towards how you view mental health? Because
100%.
prior to that, like, we've had conversations on the show and stuff where you said it's weak.
Yeah.
And so forth. And I think both me and you are on the same page. We're saying basically, like, at the end of the day, if someone's strong mentally, then the spectrum is weak. So do you view it that way still, or have you changed your whole mindset to it? Because
yes and no. All right, so have I changed my mindset towards it? No, I haven't. I think I've got more appreciation for maybe what I would say flippantly about the strong and the weak, but I think to me that's still factual. I think you've got strong-minded people. You've got people, and everyone's probably got someone in their life that will never ever suffer through any mental issues or problems. Not to say that they won't suffer problems, but they won't suffer any mental problems. Those are strong-minded people. I thought I was at this scale, and I think the reality check was to, like, you're just not there. So I don't think the mindset's changed. I just think where I am on the scale
just to play devil's advocate, if someone's going through it, I obviously have that mindset. There's a strong mental side and there's a weak mental side. But to play devil's advocate, do you not feel that you have to then be strong in order to face it?
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, I agree with that, and I guess even part of us just having this discussion now is, it's a huge step for me to speak openly about something that I was very, very embarrassed about. Not even so long ago, you know what I'm saying? I think we're in a time now where it's embraced and appreciated a lot more in terms of people suffering through mental health, especially during this time. I look at it this way. It's like, I'm sorry to relate everything to the gym and exercise and stuff like that. It's just what's familiar to me. You stop going to the gym, you get weak. Yeah? You then have to build yourself up to get back to that strong point. Do you understand what I mean? So right now, yeah, I thought I was here. I've slipped back here, and yes, this is a part of me training to build myself back up to get to that strong area again. I think just because you have been weak, it doesn't mean that you can never be strong. Do you understand what I mean? But
yeah, it's like when people say, you know, they've reached a low point. It's not to say that they're always there. It's just that they've dropped to that to that point in their life where they're weak or more vulnerable. It doesn't mean to say that they can't, you know, hit that high point.
And it's like you said, we spoke about mental health before on the show and stuff like that. And I've always kind of just said, well, you know, where you're weak, you're strong, you're strong. And it was just
a problem for someone else.
Yeah, it was a very black and white thing to me. And I think now you just have a bit of appreciation, innit? Like it's like anything. It's like if you used to act on set for a whole day, you'd have a bit of more appreciation for what actors go through to produce what they produce. And yeah, and I think it's kind of one of those things as well. And yeah, it was just a wake up call, man. But you know what it is? It's kind of humbled me a bit as well, because there are just times when you can get into these modes and mindsets where it's like you're untouchable. I've had it before. Honestly, I've had it before when I was just doing badness when I was younger. You just feel like you're untouchable. And it's only you have to get burnt once to realise that the oven's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, serious. And you just have a little bit more respect for it. And you kind of just have to step back and just say, all right, cool. And then try and take the steps to build up. But me kind of talking about it here, this is not me kind of declaring like, boy, man is absolutely fine and cool. I have my moments. I'm
still working through it.
Yeah, like, even the other day with you, I had a paranoid moment. And I was like, bro, fix up, innit?
I was not pleased.
Yeah, and it's just those things, because basically it's like I start putting, without going into what it was and all of that, but I start putting two and two together, and here, this is me for my strength now. I would have held on to that before, and I would have acted differently towards him, thinking, is it this, is it that? But I was like, no, you know what? Ask a question, get it out there. And I had no thought for how it was going to be received by him, but I just needed to hear it. I need to get reassurance that what I'm thinking, is it crap? Cool. I apologize, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's not always easy for people around me to kind of deal with, because even like with my wife, it's like if we go through something, I might realise, spaz, that what an idiot. Sorry, and I think everything's fine. But she's in that emotion now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's hard. And I know that I've been very, very hard to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So it was for me to kind of show some appreciation for that, because I didn't always do that. It was just like, well, she's my wife, she's here. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it is what it is.
So do you think you've always had a level of paranoia, or do you think that's only come since you've been dealing with all of this?
I think the paranoia is definitely, well, there's always got to be something there, innit? For something to be enhanced, it's got to be there.
Your paranoia doesn't get triggered easily.
Yeah,
generally.
yeah, but I know now it can it has definitely increased through this. I'm not a very trustworthy person anyway. Do you understand what I mean? So I always think that people got ulterior motives. I'm gonna sound bad. I think people got ulterior motives on all of this sort of stuff. It takes me a lot to trust, but when I'm there, there, innit?
You're all in.
Yeah. But it's like one little knockback can just set me back so far. And yeah, I just noticed that it's almost like I was looking for reasons. You know what I'm saying? When I was kind of in this mental mindset, I'm looking for reasons to like, all right, cool. And I'm just like, bro, you just gotta. It's weird because I feel like sometimes there's two people just talking to me on my shoulders all day long. You know what I'm saying? You remember the Kermit thing? Like the Kermit with the hood on. It's like it just feels like feels like that all day long. And yeah, it's just about training yourself again to kind of get out of that. But to kind of go back into how I've maybe developed to try and get better. It was hard, obviously, speaking to my wife directly about it, knowing that she works in mental health. It's weird. Don't get me wrong, she's not a doctor or anything like that, but you know, she runs a team within mental health, and I'm just like, all right. So we had an honest and open conversation, an emotional conversation, where I had to just kind of let my guard and my barriers down, and just.
Did she think
release.
that you had a problem before you came out and said?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah, I think she did. She did. She knew that there was something not right. I just think she was very surprised at how I felt about myself. She could see something wasn't right.
And that's
with
the
me.
thing, when someone's got that issue, you have to wait for them to recognise it, because they won't accept that there's an issue until they know that themselves. But with the whole thing is, we're obviously talking about a mental health issue. Are we self-diagnosing here, or have we spoken to people? What?
Yeah, so this is to kind of get to the point, and in regards to me having that breakthrough conversation as such, where you kind of just lay it on the table and just be totally vulnerable. Like, I was a mess having the convo with her. She suggested that I get some professional help, and she was like, "Well, I can refer you to this." And I was like, "Fucking refer! I'm not having no one take me away." Like, in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just so.
It's still that same.
It's
thing
saying that same mindset, because I'm like, no, I'm not having no one. I'm not having my name on no register. I don't want nothing associated with this. You know what I'm saying? But we sat down. She talked me through it and whatnot. And yeah, she arranged through that. I got a referral, and basically the doctor phoned me, arranged a therapy session, and at first I was just like, I had mad anxiety about doing it, because I was thinking, if I say the wrong thing,
is it gonna come across worse?
Is it gonna come across worse than what I actually feel?
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it was easier because it's not a face-to-face thing, obviously, because we're going through COVID and whatnot.
What was it?
It's
Like a Zoom?
like a Zoom thing,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had a Zoom call, and then I've had a couple of just phone calls. So done the Zoom thing. I'm thinking to myself, damn, I want to be honest and try and get the most out of this, but I don't want my guy to put down and come and section me and take me away and inject me with madness. Bruv, I'm serious. That's where my mind was going.
I think that's probably easier over Zoom, because if you're in a room and a man just starts taking notes.
You said, I want to say, what you writing?
Their body language would send me mad.
Yeah, because almost like, I want to see what you're writing, bro. Like, show me that. You know what I'm saying? But
it's them nodding head ones.
Yeah, okay. But what I found that what I got from the therapy session was, it was just them. Because let's just say it was 45 minutes, and then when I came off after, I realised that for that 45 minutes, I'd probably spoke for about 44. All they've done is just listen, just say little things to kind of just make it expand. And you just find that you're actually just talking to yourself out loud. That's all you're doing. Like, you're talking to yourself, because whilst I'm talking, I'm explaining things, it's like everything's coming together, and I'm like, I kind of get it, because of the way in which is a skill set, you know what I'm saying? And I encourage people, if you're not feeling right, speak to someone professionally. Whilst I didn't think that person at the time was absolutely great, because I was thinking, right, like, you
just pose questions,
you didn't do shit. Yeah, like, just pose questions, but they get you to speak. So before I was actually referred, before there was actually any issues, I was actually I'd done some therapy for myself. Like, this is like paid for therapy that I just wanted just to be in a good mindset. And I think,
what do you mean? So
this is before COVID, before all of this. I basically used to go to a therapist. I went maybe 4 or 5 times to a therapist, just to make sure that my mind, it was almost like for going to the GP for a general checkup.
Okay.
So whilst I didn't think that there was a problem, I was going there just to, cause I listened to a lot of Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, especially, who's very, very big on mental health. And it was one of these things where I just listened to something, and it was just encouraging. I think they had a doctor on there speaking, and he was encouraging people, you should just go to therapy. It should just be a normal.
Don't wait.
Don't wait for a crash.
Yeah.
Go, and I thought, cool, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
And I did, and whatnot, and it was different to this. It was different. The conversation and everything was so different to when you're coming with a problem. Do you understand what I mean? Like, when I had this Zoom meeting, I was saying, I've got a problem. I think this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And then it was conversations on the back of that. Whereas when I went beforehand, it was more like someone talking to me about general life, what I feel about it, blah, blah, blah. And, you know,
probably more relaxed, because
100%, because I wasn't in, I was probably more open at that stage, because I didn't have no fear of being sectioned or anything like that.
Thinking and
freely. But so sorry, to kind of go back, I digressed a bit, but to go back to when I've done the Zoom call, I felt, you know what, I can get something from this. And then they said they wanted to refer me to CBT therapy. Gosh, I always forget this. Cognitive behavioural therapy. I might have said it wrong.
Cognitive,
yeah. But they wanted to refer me to that, and I said, all right, well, I'll go through this course because they said it's a 3-part course that you kind of go through initially. So they build up the assessment. So I went past the 3-part course, had the 2 phone calls after I had the Zoom call. And then I received this email to say that you are suffering with depression and anxiety. And from that, it was like, rah, that's mad. But it was like, all right, it's been now assessed. You know what I'm saying? It's like if someone told you you've got, I don't know, some sort of disease. You got the disease, innit? You can't argue it. It actually gave me a bit of a relief to know that, all right, well, this is what it is. It's like, this is the problem. This is now what I've got to tackle. It's not just like, oh, I've got all these things going on in my head that I can't get straight. It was like, okay, Craig, fair enough. You suffer from depression and anxiety. Fine. Now you got to kind of put that out there so you can get the support that you need.
Do they give you tools?
I think the tools were probably going to come from the CBT. I didn't get much from, in terms of tools on how to deal with things. It was just more encouraging you to talk openly. Is there anyone in your family that you can speak to, or friends and whatnot?
So that is them that is them giving guess, advice on.
So you saying?
So at that time, remember, I haven't told you guys yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once I had the label for it and I knew, and I was like, all right, cool. Now, Craig, I'm ready to fight back. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to fight back. Cool. And I still feel that to some extent I might have bottled it a bit because I kind of just put it out there. Yeah, guys, I'm going through. It's almost like, leave me alone. I'm a mess. But I just want you to know that I'm a mess. I'm okay. And that's kind of how it was, isn't it? Because the last thing that I wanted is that for people to start phoning me and then try and have the talk about it and all of that stuff. And whilst I'm trying to get myself better, and I was probably in a better place than before I'd done all that, the therapy and kind of spoke to Mish and had the breakthrough and whatnot.
To be fair, I was probably, because I think I spoke to you the day before you sent the message. And
Yeah.
I think that day I was like,
yeah, that was a Sunday. I remember that.
I called him, like,
that was.
I check if he's alright, but he did say he's fine. But then when you sent the message, and I think in the message you said like, I don't need anyone like constantly like being on you, and I thought, okay, I was glad that you kind of put it out there, and in all honesty, I probably felt a little pressure off my shoulders. I thought like,
what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, what do I say? Yeah. How often do I check? And when you did that, I thought, I was like, all right, that's you're already sharing. You're already making good progress.
It didn't feel to me that you was calling for that. You might have been. You just tricked me. But it helped me to kind of open up, because to me it was just like, cool, we're just having a normal conversation. And that's how most of these kind of things start. It's that you just have a normal conversation, and then it could just expand into whatever it is. And that's how it kind of felt to me. And that's maybe part of the reason why I was just able to just open up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? About I'm suffering a little bit.
So from what you're saying though, I'm getting the impression we didn't follow through with the CBT stuff.
No, I haven't.
Why?
Because I feel that it's not needed. I know it's really weird.
But
I feel it's not needed.
You said yourself that you're still dealing with things. You still have your moments.
I feel that I'm getting a lot better. This is huge for me right now. I don't care if one person watches this. The fact that I'm here talking is good for me. The lockdown with the restrictions for us doing a show came at the right time, because I'd already started flaking on you guys. I don't even know if you noticed.
We didn't notice.
You know what I'm saying? So it came at a good time, because I needed a break, but I didn't want to obviously let people down and all of those sort of things. I didn't want to be around people or anything like socialize with anybody. I used to feel uncomfortable when people were coming to my house, or Misha would ask me to go somewhere with her, and I'd just be like, not on it. And I can feel myself kind of coming back. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't want anything to disrupt that run. If I ever feel that I am slipping, and this is what the kind of people have said to me, that I can kind of ask for that at any time. But right now, while I'm on a roll and I'm feeling amazing, I just want to continue that. You know what I'm saying? There are certain exercises I do for myself, just in terms of checking yourself, and I just want to continue it.
kind of like antibiotics in medicine, and they say take it for its full course.
Yeah.
You feel like you might have reached the point where you're supposed to be, but as far as like say a therapist is concerned, maybe you're supposed to be at this point, and by seeing what they've said as a full course, you may be better off than you are and less likely to slip back into the position you previously were.
And sometimes they may have wanted to strip things away, and you could end up in a worse place to get back to a better place, if that makes sense.
Okay, I get
And
but see, that's the part I'm not willing to compromise on.
You may by not going through that, you may have papered over certain things,
possibly,
and then reach that at a later time where you totally wasn't expecting it.
It's almost like you got a car and you got a puncture, and you just repair the puncture when they're gonna just change the whole wheel for you.
Yeah, I see. I understand what you guys are saying, and listen, I might be getting it wrong. I don't know.
I
only
hope you're not. But
me too. But I can only go on emotionally how I feel, and what you're saying about stripping it back even further.
Yeah,
I'm like, I feel like I was, as
You
far as
don't want to go any further.
Yeah, I'm saying. It's almost like saying someone, go and walk naked, and you walk naked, and now they say, all right, cool, now that you've done that, I'm going to make you do the moonwalk naked. You're like, hold on a minute. I just put my clothes back on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know is the God's honest truth. I've never actually thought about it. When you guys are saying it in that way, I've never actually thought about it like that. Like maybe it's papering over cracks to expose something later. I don't know. But I just know right now that I feel good and I feel stronger, and I want to keep kind of building on that in the way in which I have. There's so many other people out there who may be feeling a certain way and don't want to tackle it. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm not just going to say, I'm just going to become one of these mental health advocates and all of those sort of things, but I just now know the some of the depths and the effects that it can have. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've never had suicidal thoughts or anything like that. It's never kind of. I love my kids and my wife too much, but I'm not. That's just.
I think that's not fair.
Yeah, I don't think people that do that have suicidal.
Maybe
thoughts.
not the thoughts, but I think if you go to take your life, it's a selfish act.
It's a selfish act, but
maybe not the thoughts.
But those people leave here loving people.
Yeah. And you know what? No, I should be more responsible in what I'm saying, because there are thoughts that you actually just have no control over. Yeah. So let me be more mindful to that. I think it's more that when you said that, the first thing that came to me was actual suicide. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't change my mind on that. I do think that that's a selfish act. Yeah, it's just one of these things. I know that people do suffer. And a lot of people suffer in silence, or they haven't got the kind of people to turn to and have these types of conversations. So, if this does encourage, like I said, I'm sitting here, I don't have all the answers. I don't. This is, for me, Grown Arse Men generally anyway is therapy for me. Being around the man them is therapy for me. You know what I'm saying? It's all of those sort of things that I get so much from it. So if it helps someone else, fantastic. You know what I'm saying? But if it don't, cool, I've got something out of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Have you guys ever thought that you ever suffered with any sort of negative mental thoughts, or, well, I can't say negative mental thoughts, I think everyone does, but ever thought that it's kind of got to a place where it could potentially get serious?
I worry.
Or your behaviour?
I worry that it's going to happen. But I don't think I've ever been in a space where I'm just down.
Why do you say you worry it's going to happen?
Obviously, I lost my mum, then I lost my marriage, and I feel like I've coped very well through these things, and I worry that one day it's all going to come crashing in on me, and I'm not going to be able to manage, and that is a massive fear of mine, because I don't want to be in a space where I can't function.
Do you feel that you've dealt with? Because you say you're managing okay, but are you managing okay because you just don't think about those things, and you just, because some people just have the capacity just to get on with it. You know what I'm saying? Which I respect. But like you said, sometimes things can lay dormant.
I just feel that for me, I've just become numb to things. Yeah. So at one point, I didn't want to come out of that space of being numb. But in the last couple of months, I thought it's probably not the best space to be in. Just being numb to everything. but it's still very. It's scary to think. Okay, if you're not numb to it, you have to feel it. And I don't know if I'm ready to feel those things.
And you're worried if you do feel those things, that might lead to. Yeah.
Because I think as well, obviously knowing your situation, kind of the head of a family sort of thing, like just not even just in their own household, but very much a leading figure within his own family. You often put your own feelings aside, and what I found is that I would try to forget how I feel by worrying about someone else. That would help me. Knowing that I'm helping somebody else helps me not deal with what's going on inside my own head.
That's a thing that I'm consciously trying to get out of. I feel like those are things that I've inherited from my mum, taking on people's problems. But the last maybe 6-7 months, I've decided that I'm not doing that anymore because I feel like I'm carrying people's burdens. Not like you guys. I carry strangers over there, strangers' burdens. I'll take them on and it weighs you down. Yeah. Like I've had people that I don't know talking about committing suicide, and I'm checking in, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even your friend like that, and I'm I don't want to say wasting my time, but it's a lot to take on, and then you feel like, okay, well if you don't call, then what happens on that day? Yeah. And I just feel to myself, it's a lot, so I'm trying to consciously stay away from that because it's a lot to carry.
And then that's one of the statuses that I put up there the other day, that you can't be everything to everyone. Do you understand what I mean? Pick and choose wisely. Do you remember? I think you actually sent me a message saying I didn't relate it. Yeah. As I put it out there, I'm thinking more about it, and I'm like, like that one hits. You know what I'm saying? What about yourself? In terms of dealing with
kind of like doing that, I've worried about it eventually coming. Like one day, I think due to some issues that have been in my family and people that have kind of dealt with this kind of thing, it's made me more conscious of it, think about it a little more. I don't know. I definitely don't think I give off this feeling, but in my head, I'm constantly positive in terms of appreciative of what I do have. Don't think too much about what I don't have.
It's lucky,
and I'll say it again.
You don't give it off.
I don't. but then at the same time, I don't think I complain.
No, you don't.
I'm not someone.
You're just like this, bro.
Yeah, I'm very kind of like my tone. I'm never too high. I'm never too low. I kind of just feel like I stay there. And like I say, in my head, everything is even if I have a moment of, oh man, like why do I have to be dealing with this? Like can I pay for that right now? But then I say, right, but you can pay for this. You can pay for that. Think of it like that. But I'm worried that one day if I'm not strong enough to tell myself, you can deal with that, and then I might have that low moment where if I hit it, can I get out of it kind of thing. And I think, like I say about family, I think it's because you can look at people and they can seem so upbeat, so fine with everything, look like life is fine, and knowing that they've been dealing with certain problems, kind of like yourself, you wouldn't think that there's any issue, but then knowing that you've reached that point just makes me think, all right, I need to be on my P's and Q's. I need to make sure that
it's just kind of checking in
control of what's going on there.
But you know what it is as well, it's that mentality where, or that visual that you see sometimes where like a duck's head is above water, but underneath the water the legs are going crazy. And for a lot of people, I would imagine that I can portray myself that way, that everything's fine on the surface, everything can be fine, and I might even be fine in that moment, but there's constant, you know what I'm saying, there's just constant underwater thing. And I challenge people to be honest or don't answer. And when I say that is through a lot of this, when I've gone around, everyone says, you're right. And I look at them, I think, you want to know the answer to this? Or are you just saying it? So it's like, if you're going to ask someone that you're right, you better be prepared. Because if I'm in that mood where, no, I ain't alright. This is, he was like, well, good morning. You know what I'm saying? But more time, taking the jokes aside, more time it would be like if anyone asks, "Are you alright?" Yeah, I'm cool. So you've been up to? I can tell you the positive stuff. That's cool. But you kind of just leave the negativity out there because I know that I was very conscious at one stage in my life, maybe not so much now, about how I looked, you know what I'm saying, or how what people thought about me. And I guess it's maybe perception, and I think it's maybe maybe since, you know what, since we've been kind of doing Grown Arse Men with just the four of us, I've just kind of not cared as much, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's linked to that, it's just the kind of timing that I can link it to. I just don't really care too much what people think. I'm a lot more stronger with my own opinion, and you know, it is what it is. And I guess, you know, given the fact that we're here, it's like I'm okay with how I am and who I am. Cool, this is just what it is. You know, it's unfortunate, but shit happens, guys. You know what I'm saying? This is all real life.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, you went through how you told us, how you told Mish, how you told your parents or whatever. How was it? Because obviously P's quite old now. You know, he can notice certain things. Have you and him had a conversation on it? How's he?
Yeah. See, it's like thing? How can I say it? It's difficult because more than, you know, I was talking just before about I don't really care how people see me and all of that. My children, I 100% care. Do you understand what I mean? So I've been treading carefully. He knows that I've gone through something. I haven't yet had that real sit down, let me explain thing. I just still think I need to, personally, I just feel like I need to be a little bit further along so that it's more of a reflection thing rather than, you know, I'm in the midst of it. However, we have been quite open. Me and Mish have had conversations which he's heard and overheard, and he might have triggered an
so he knows it's not a secret.
Yes, if I tell him that, oh, you know what, P, that man's been going through anxiety and a little bit of depression. I speak to my son like he's my brethren as well. Like when I say man's going through, like people don't always speak to their kids like that, but we've got a friendship as well as obviously a father or something. But he's seen me. He's not stupid. He's seen my behavioural differences in the household, but I'm yet to really have that conversation with him. I think I'm still trying to tackle it. That's not about him. That's about me.
You wanna talk to him on a thing of that's where I was. It's what I've come through.
But now I'm actually listening to myself speak right now, and I'm thinking, I think we should have the conversation. We should. It's not something I'm going to say, well, we're going to do it tomorrow. But when the time just feels right, I'm going to have that conversation with him because I need to give him the respect of knowing where he is on an emotional intelligence level. Do you understand what I mean? So I think he can handle what I've got to say. My youngest son, Cairo, he ain't really got a clue what's going on.
That would be too much.
Yeah, because his behaviours just show me he just don't care.
He's not. You can join him.
Exactly. But so nothing's kind of changed towards them. But it's like he would see me like in the early stage. He'll see me lying down just on the sofa, like just emotionless, and he'd be like, have you taken the time? Are you feeling a bit sick again? Like it's that sort of thing. Like you got a headache or something. Like it's just checking up on me in that way. But you know, he's not ready for all of that yet. And like I said, there's not been no dramatic difference in the way that I'm kind of dealing with them. But Paris, especially, I think I'm ready to definitely have a sit down and talk with him.
That's good. But I just think, you know, we as fathers do need to normalise that whole openness. You know, yes,
the vulnerability of a man.
Yeah, you know, I get what you're saying about, you know, your children is definitely people, you know, you care how they see you. All of us want to be seen as that strong parent, you know, nothing like really breaks us. But at the same time, you know, all our kids are getting older and they have to see that vulnerability. They need to.
But I think about that.
What?
That I have to be strong.
I definitely do.
I definitely do.
But at the same time, I also want to show him, because I sometimes I'm conscious of the fact that he might be trying to be strong for he's seen that as an example. So like he might not show vulnerability or an issue with something because he knows he has to kind of deal with it the same way that I do, or to be fair, the same way that I've taught him how to kind of deal with things. If I'm honest, I kind of that's mine. I just brush that off. Like don't let that affect you, kind of thing. But that might be the wrong way to be showing him things.
It's such a thin line.
Yeah,
it's hard getting the balance.
I always say to Cass, like, there's a time that there are reasons crying over what you're crying for isn't a good reason.
Yeah.
But I'll give reasons to what you can cry for. So I've never I don't come with the boys don't cry. I don't do any of
this.
Yeah,
no, I don't do that. But I think I do come across with a certain emotionlessness. I don't think that's a word.
That's good. But you might have just got away with slightly. But I
it's not a word, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I come across. I wouldn't say cold, but I kind of say like it's not even like I say like that. Don't let that bother you. Like there's this going on, or like that person's got this to deal with. Like
I personally kind of especially when it comes to like Cairo, when he kind of went through a cryy stage, you know what I'm saying? And what it was is that I used to try to challenge him as to why. Tell me exactly why. What are you feeling that's making you cry? And then as it's almost like as he's explaining it, he's realizing
this isn't a reason.
That's not really, you know what I'm saying? And there'll be sometimes where he's like, I just can't help it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, cool. Like that for me is kind of a breakthrough. Like you're realizing, because ignorance is bliss, isn't it? If you don't know, then you can't do better. But when they actually know to do better, rather than me kind of coming and saying, boys, don't cry for that, man. Toughen up. You know what I'm saying?
I analyze why it is
exactly. Don't get me wrong. I've been guilty of that sometimes, maybe like just on a one-away due to how I'm emotionally feeling that time. But when you actually challenge them, you can see that it hits harder and you get more out of it rather than just the whole boys should be tough. Like, get up, stop crying about them things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember even when he was trying to teach himself how to ride a bike. Let me brief you, son. You're gonna fall over. You're gonna get hurt. Yeah. If you want to cry about that and stop, that's on you. But I'm telling you before it happens. So when he's, I'm not saying to him, don't cry. If you want to cry and stop, you can. So when he has fallen over now, sometimes you fall over. You look quickly. You're like, I'm not gonna cry. And he's made that decision for himself. And I'm like, cool. Like that's the progress from me, man. But we have to consciously be thinking about what we are installing into our children. We're probably getting into another subject. Yeah. It's real, But let me just kind of stop it there.
I'm gonna have that conversation.
Yeah, because I know Ricks don't like to cross over.
You're wasting your
Alright, but listen, guys, we will be back on Thursday, 7 till...
Is it this Thursday?
Thursday the 15th.
Thursday the
15th, 7 o'clock.
It's this Thursday.
Pulse 88 FM, Instagram Live. I'm going to say YouTube as well.
We should be uploading to Spotify as well.
And the rest. Come on. What's the other names?
Apple.
We got Snapchat.
I was making you say it because I don't remember them.
But you know what? I think we need to try and get more active on a few more socials, man. But listen, we appreciate your support. Make sure if this is on YouTube that you like, comment, and subscribe. This ain't easy. So I appreciate if you've watched from start to finish. Well done, you. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. We're gonna edit. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Right, after all that man said, I got issues.
Thank you for watching. Peace.
We're out.
I thought it was off.